Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. Welcome to this program. And on this episode, I'm going to be talking with you about the types of fourth stimulus that are actually possible. And when I say fourth stimulus, I mean more money to the average American person, not necessarily business owners, but average Americans in the next upcoming year. So anytime in the next 365 days. If you saw my last video, I was just sharing with you the honest truth. There are many people out there propagating day after day that a fourth stimulus, the ones that we have seen in the past, like the first, second, and third, those earning $75,000 or less filing single, those earning under $150,000 filing joint, who saw stimulus checks, that a fourth stimulus check is possible. And that there are many people in the House of Representatives and the Senate that agree with it, and they're pressuring Joe Biden in order to do it, and therefore a fourth stimulus is going to happen. It is not going to happen. I'm just going to be blatantly honest with you, and I know some people are telling me that I'm being negative. It has nothing to do with being negative. It's being honest. And yes, I do agree that having hope in something is important, but you need to have hope in truth, something that's true, something that's real, that has value in it. When there is no truth to it, to propagate it is actually wrong. And there is no fourth stimulus coming in the upcoming year, anything like what we've seen already. Now, after a year from now, if the pandemic somehow gets worse and unemployment gets bad again and people get fired from their jobs or laid off again, then yes, that's absolutely possible. But right now, the economic conditions of the United States of America seal the deal. There is not going to be another fourth stimulus this year, the likes of which we've already seen. It will not happen. It's practically a 0%. And I find it amazing that some people put out video after video saying over and over again, I really think this is going to happen. I really think this is going to happen. And I wonder if anyone's going to hold them accountable after the entire year goes by and there is no fourth stimulus, because I bet you I know what they're going to do. They're going to blame the government when there's no stimulus. They're not going to blame themselves. They're not going to say, hey, I'm sorry I misinformed you. I had the data, I had the economic information, and I kept telling you that this was going to happen. I blame myself. When as an analyst, as an educated individual, I should have looked at the data and told you the facts that it's not going to happen. Not like the ones we've already seen, but they're not going to do that. They're just going to blame the government. They're just going to blame Joe Biden. But the reality is our lawmakers are not going to do this. But what is possible? So that's enough with the negative. The negative is over. If you don't like the negative, it's done. Now we're going to move to the positive, because more stimulus is possible, but not the likes of what we've already seen. So let me explain three different types of stimulus that I think are possible, not necessarily going to happen, but possible. The first one is more stimulus money for parents or for individuals who claim children on their taxes. We already know that those individuals are going to start receiving some stimulus money in July, month-to-month payments, if they have children 17 and under. So they're going to receive those, and you could have 4 children, you're going to receive monthly payments for all 4 of them. That's already a stimulus that's happening. However, there is a real push to continue to help parents and those who claim children longer than that. And so that's a real stimulus that might happen. I'm not saying it's going to, but it's not a fairy tale. It's a possibility that enough lawmakers could actually write that legislation and pass it through both houses of Congress and actually get it signed. That's possibility number one. The next stimulus that's possible is stimulus for those who have student loan debt. And when I say student loan debt, I mean federal student loan debt. It cannot be from some private organization. It has to be from government subsidy. If you have student loan debt or you know somebody who does, it is very possible that you can receive stimulus money in the form of student loan forgiveness. So yes, they're not going to send you a blank check, but basically you won't have to pay that money anymore. And so it almost is like a check. It's basically stimulus money. Now, Joe Biden seems like he's okay with an executive order to remove $10,000 of student loan debt. There are some legislators who are pushing for $50,000. It seems like if that's going to happen, he wants the legislatures to do it. It is possible that they will do this. I'm not saying definite, but this is not a fairy tale stimulus. It's something that could happen and could get passed through both houses of Congress. A third stimulus that is possible is stimulus for those who are in the extreme low income area. And I'm talking about those individuals who are maybe making $30,000 or less single and $50,000 or less filing jointly. Now, this one's probably the most difficult of the three. And you would think, Vin, this one should definitely happen. Low income individuals need help. I understand that. But our legislatures don't think like that. When they see that information, they say those making $30,000 and less, many of those individuals are 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds, 18-year-olds. They're single, they're college students, they have their first jobs. We don't need to be sending those individuals money. And half of them are going to be those types of individuals. Our legislatures would say that's not targeted enough. But also within that group, you're going to have families with moms and dads and kids who are making under $50,000 who are stretched and need a lot of help. And so the stimulus might get passed just to help those people out, even though it might help a broader group of people who may not entirely need the help. Those are the three types of stimulus that could really happen. Now, I know some people want to know, well, what about Social Security stimulus? Could something happen there? And if you didn't see my last video, I encourage you to watch it because the Social Security increase is not on the agenda. They are not going to put that there. Now, that might happen years from now, but this year, it does not look like it's going to happen. They introduced this idea last year and the years before that, and they've never done anything with it, and it doesn't look like they're going to do anything with it now. And I will definitely tell you that there is not going to be a fourth stimulus that looks anything like the other three stimuluses that we've got with the wage ranges that they had before and the type of money that they were giving out. But the three that I just shared with you are actual possibilities. And if you fall into one of those categories or you know somebody who does, you could give them a little bit of hope or have a little bit of hope that you might be able to receive a little extra money. It doesn't mean it's definite though, because it's going to be extremely tough still to get this through both houses of Congress and then signed, because right now they're not wanting to spend that much more money on stimulus. They are seeing that the economy has been stimulated. I mean, the United States economy, when it comes to the world economically, we are more stimulated than any other country at this point. We are buying more product than anyone else. Our increase in imports is incredible right now during this pandemic. The unemployment rate is dropping dramatically. Jobs and businesses are opening up. Laws, COVID restrictions are being reduced. In some places, dramatically so. In some places, almost to nothing. Even in states where they had very strict rules like New York and New York City, they're dramatically reducing them. So lawmakers are not looking for another fourth big stimulus. And I'm just sharing the truth with you. It is not to be negative. But what point is there to show up to a channel day after day that's telling you something that's not real? I mean, if it's just for entertainment purposes, that's one thing. If it's just to get that little bit of hope maybe in something that's not really ever going to happen, I guess. But if you're here with this channel, I am going to tell you the truth, but I am trying to give you a little positive here too. So there is hope that a few categories of targeted stimulus may still happen. And hopefully, if you're in one of those categories, you will get the benefits of that. Or if there's somebody you know who's a family member, will get the benefits of that. It doesn't mean I don't think that other types of stimulus should happen. I do think Social Security, they should definitely look at reforming that, possibly increasing the payments in that. That's one that should be very heavily looked into. But there's just so much pushback to that. And I even know there's a lot of conservatives who push back against it. But in my opinion, I mean, you're not people on Social Security aren't getting rich. You know what I mean? They're just trying to live. And the wages that are given out in Social Security, it's just, I mean, a $200 increase is not going to make somebody, rich. It's just going to be that little extra boost that they need. So I would hope that eventually something like that could be worked out, but they're just not. They're just not doing it. They say a lot of things, but they don't actually do a lot of things. And so that's not a part of the agenda. Neither is the big stimulus. So I'll keep you updated if any one of these hit. By the way, if you are a parent or you claim a child, the July payments should start coming out soon. So I'll keep you up to date on that as well. Thank you all for coming along with me to the channel, to this episode. I appreciate you guys very, very much. Enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy the rest of your week. Until next time.